Hello and welcome to the Pink in the City podcast. Pink in the City is a breast cancer charity. We are raising awareness and funds and providing information and inspiration. Please share this episode with the world and join us in our mission. And now, let's proceed to today's episode.
Hi, this is Pink in the City. I'm your host, Angie Tsakiris, and I'm with my good friend again, Cristina Silva.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Cristina. We're back with our pillars of health. Where are we now? Which one are we at?
All right. So today is an interesting one, and there's lots to cover. So it's the third pillar, which is relationships.
Oh boy, I think this one a lot of people have a hard time with. I know personally I do.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big one. It's a big one, most definitely. So would you like me to start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so let me start by saying that if you look up the description in the dictionary for relationships, you will find it saying, so relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected or state of being connected. So the key word here is connection.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, let me just say, Angie, that there's 4 types of relationships.
Wow,
So
that many.
You have the family relationships, you have friendships, you have acquaintanceships, like coworkers, neighbors, school colleague, and you've got the romantic relationships.
Okay.
Now, I like to add one to that, which is a spiritual relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the groups of relationships, under that big word relationship.
Since we have so much to cover, let's start with the first one, which is family. Family is everyone, I guess. Brothers, sisters, mothers, grandparents, uncles, right?
Exactly. So I have a question for you, actually.
Go ahead.
So what do you think a healthy, what does it take to have a healthy relationship? Like, what does it consist of?
In any sense of family or friendship?
Yes, like just in general. Exactly.
In general, I think for me, it would be a lot of a good communication, rapport between the two people, having a lot of honesty and trust between the two, and in anything, I believe, romantically, friendship. I believe that if you're lacking one of those, then there's no point.
Exactly. And if I may add, because you did cover most of them there, respect, that's a big one, right?
Yes.
So you said honesty, trust, open communication, respect, and there's also willing to compromise and share, right?
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think of that one.
Exactly. So we always say to kids, sharing is caring, right? So
true.
It really is that sharing is caring, compromise is caring. So that's definitely a big one in a relationship. So let's discuss family, like you said. So healthy family relationships are important for lots of different reasons. So they help us feel secure and loved, right?
Right.
They set the example and give us skills to build healthy relationships of our own, right? So what you're used to at home, and how you're brought up is basically, your way of thinking of relationships, right?
Well, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so there you go.
Exactly. And sometimes they say history repeats itself as well, right? All these little sayings.
Yes. Aren't you a bit more like your mother? Like, I find that I'm like my mom.
Exactly. As much as we don't always want to be, right? Love you, mom. But at some point we kind of say those things, but it's what we know.
Exactly.
Right. And then also being part of a family, it makes us feel good that we're part and we have our family, right? It's like that feeling of connection, of like saying, I belong here. These are my people.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, for sure. And COVID, I think for me, those 2 years not being close to my family, I felt very distant from them. And I think that's what people felt the most, that taken away from them, their family.
exactly. Because it's our sense of connection, right? It's our anchor. It's where we belong. You can go away to the other end of the world, but if you're away from your family, you can't wait to come back home, right? Not so much to your house, but it's more to your family, to your surroundings, to the people that make you feel like home. So what do you do? Yeah. All right. So what do you do when you have a difficult family member, right? Because we're talking about relationships being, one of the pillars of good health, because, if your relationships are stressful, let it be work, let it be personal, a friend that's stressing you, and or people that you surround yourself with that are not, making you feel comfortable in your skin, in your surrounding, in your everyday, that creates stress, right? And
I'm sure everybody has one of those people in their family. Yeah.
Exactly. And then eventually, living under chronic stress does bring illness. So relationships are super important to have healthy relationships. So what do you do when you have a difficult family member? So number one, I think, is create boundaries, right? So set your limits of what is right for you. Then number two would be limit your contact. So, and if you must, be in the same room,
what do you do
with this person? I mean, don't let yourself be alone with them. Like, for example, like at a family gathering, that person that kind of rubs you the wrong way, or it could be your sister-in-law, it could be your cousin, it could be your whoever it is. We always have one of those family members that just knows how to trigger us, right? So it's fine. They're there. They're part of the family. You can't make them go away, but you could limit your contact with them. So try not to find yourself alone with this person. So therefore, when you're always surrounded by other people, you won't be as easily triggered, because that person will not have that moment with you per se.
Yeah. And it shows on that person. I believe that for me, whenever I'm around a person in my family that I have a hard time with, I can't hide it on my face because it shows.
And if they do, trigger you, just don't engage, right? Don't participate. And this,
it's hard though.
It's hard for sure. But the second you feel or sense an argument or confrontation coming on, just walk away, leave the space. That's the best thing to do. Just walk away. Don't engage, because you know what? At the end of the day, remember one thing: no matter what you say or do, you're not going to change anyone's mind, right? So if that person is confrontational and you have an opinion, no matter what you're going to say to them, Angie, it's not going to change the way they think or do things, right? So why dispense that energy and get all worked up and everything for what?
Yeah. And you know what?
So just don't engage.
And especially, this is a great topic just before the holidays, because everybody's going to reunite for the holidays, and they're going to be faced with the person that does rub them the wrong way. So now these pointers are very helpful.
For sure. Another thing is as well, so pointer number 4 would be create a solid support system. So surround yourself with people that really care about you for the person you are, because it goes a long way. And get rid of all that negativity that surrounds you.
I think people feel
in your family.
They feel guilty alienating somebody in their family, because they feel like because they're blood related, oh, I'm not supposed to it. But it's okay to do it. It's okay to just to say, you know what, I've had enough.
Exactly. And then there's the extreme, which is cutting all ties. So when all else fails, when you really, have no other choice, and you have done everything, you've tried everything to, to change behaviors and still nothing, then you know what? There's a saying that they say, let them play solitaire.
Oh, yes.
Just exactly. So just let them play solitaire.
Yeah. Let them
Toxic
figure it out.
games, exactly. Toxic games require two people to play. But when one person bows out, then there's only one left to play the game, and that's no fun.
No,
right?
No.
Exactly.
I never thought of it like that. And I think it's very clear, your pointers. And I'm sure a lot of people that are listening, they're taking notes because we all have one of these people in our families.
And you know what it is? It causes so much stress to someone
I
to
never
be
realized.
around.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
it really does. And it's very draining. And this is not good. It's not good for your health. That's why I believe and I put relationships as one of my pillars, because they do have such an impact in our lives. So it's important to cultivate relationships that really, fill your cup and bring you good vibes and make you feel good about yourself.
Well, even when that I love my mother just like you love your mother, but my mother and I are very confrontational, and I've reached an age where I said to her at this point that, Mom, because I believe there's limits. I think a mother is somebody
Boundaries.
that you can't alienate. I mean, you cannot tell her.
Of course not.
But like you said, you have boundaries, you talk to each other, and you reach that understanding where at one point they do see the light. They do admit that they're wrong. It's the way we speak to them, and the way we speak to them, it plays a role on how they respond to you.
I always say approach everything with love.
Yes. Yes.
Kill them with kindness.
Yes.
That's what I say.
And you're right.
So the more you do that, I find, the more you don't react to the person, I find the person also, they reciprocate. They change their song and dance because they're so used to having people, fight back or argue back with them. And then when you don't, and then when you don't, that's exactly what I said. Let them play solitaire. Let them play their game on their own. And when they realize that they're all alone to play this game, it's not fun. And eventually they start changing their ways as well.
It's like a bully. When they don't have a target anymore, they kind of just dwindle off and say, oh, well, it's not fun anymore.
Exactly. Most definitely.
Okay, so that was family. That was one of them. Now, the second one is friends.
Yes. Oh,
my God.
I've got some dear ones.
Yeah.
So friends can, they can prevent isolation and loneliness. So very important to have friends.
For sure.
They increase your sense of belonging and purpose. They boost your happiness and reduce stress. So having good friends and surrounding yourself by people, like-minded people, and people, again, that fill your cup. So friends are good for your physical health, believe it or not, because according to a 2010 review, people with strong relationships have half the risk of premature death from all causes.
Wow.
Friends encourage healthy behaviors. So, for example, people are so much more motivated, right? And likely to lose weight or exercise when you do it with a friend.
Yes.
Right? So they promote you to stay active, right? So I've got a walking buddy actually here in my neighborhood, and there is days where I'm tired. Let's go for a walk. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, yes, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. And I'm so glad you text me. So we encourage each other, because I'll do that to her as well.
Exactly. You do
Sometimes
the
on a
same thing
Saturday
for her.
morning.
Yeah.
Exactly. A Saturday morning, I'm like, let's go. And she appreciates it, because she's like, I wasn't going to do it, but the fact that you text me, I'm ready and I'm going. So friends do encourage healthy behaviors. Also, friends give you emotional support. So when you're going through hard times, it's important to have that support, right?
Right.
And surround you by people that are positive and that are happy, because you know what? That energy is contagious.
But
So
that's
the
what you
minute you're
said, the
feeling
magic word, positivity.
exactly. So the
Yes.
minute you're feeling down and out and things are not right, call your most positive friend, and I can bet you by the time you hang up that phone, you're going to have a different mood. So it's so important to surround yourself with happy people, people that are going to lift you up, especially going through hard times or time that we might feel, a little down and out. Also, friends help you build confidence, Angie.
Of
So
course.
everyone has self-doubt, insecurities every now and then, right? So friends, when you're not sure about something, it's good to get a second opinion, right? You call up your friend and you say, listen, I want to wear this outfit or that outfit, I need your opinion. And then your friend will, your good friend will be there to encourage you and tell you how beautiful you look in your outfit, and share their opinion with you. So, and then it's going to give you that reassurance. So friends definitely build confidence. Friends help you beat stress. So, spending time with friends helps reduce stress, according to a Harvard Medical School study that they did. So, social connections help relieve levels of stress, which can harm the heart's arteries, gut function, insulin regulation, and the immune system.
Wow.
So, again, if you're stressed out, you need that friend. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to be able to kind of make you forget whatever is stressing you. Even if it's just for an hour over coffee, you're going to come out of that little coffee date feeling so good about yourself.
You see,
right?
that's why at the restaurant on Thursdays, a lot of restaurants, they have the ladies' night. And why do you think they have that ladies' night and they don't have a men's night? Because women, especially women, I believe more, they need to bond with other women to have that extracurricular activity that doesn't require cooking, cleaning. It's nice to go out for a drink. It's nice to go out for a coffee. It's nice to just to be away from routine.
Yeah, and those ladies' nights, they attract the boys to the ladies' nights.
It's true. But it's nice, like you said, to change environments, but to be surrounded with people that are like you and want they have the same values. So and important to laugh.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Because friends, they push you to be your best, right? Friends are there to provide positive influence, right, into your life. So it's so important to have those moments, those coffee dates, those supper dates, or whatever it is. Even go over to each other's house one afternoon and just have a tea
for
together.
Your walks, like you go with
go
your
for
friends.
walks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's so therapeutic. We walk for about an hour and it's amazing. We get so much more than just exercise during our walks. And also, a little note here. So, if you make friends with people who are generous with their time, help others, are ambitious, or family oriented, you are likely to develop those same values for yourself. Right?
Very true.
So, there's that influence, that positive influence. So, if you're around someone that is ambitious and always wanting to create and do things, it's going to kind of get those juices flowing in yourself as well. So there's that positive influence. So it's so important to surround yourself with good people.
You don't realize how many people you do influence when you do feel positive. I think just waking up in the morning for myself, feeling happy and being alive and going about my day, always thinking that, oh, positive, positive. You don't know around you who senses that and what you change in them, because
Exactly.
they won't necessarily come and tell you, oh, you changed my day, but maybe in their own way, they just grab some of your contagious happiness and they use it in their day too, but we don't know, right?
For sure, exactly. And even if this person is an acquaintance that you do that with,
Mm-hmm.
eventually that person likes being around you so much because you've got that feeling and that positive vibe that you'll end up making a new friend,
Yeah, yeah,
because
true.
that person will eventually want to be around you more. And acquaintances do become friends.
Yeah. And there's people too also, if you before we go to the other one, the other
Point.
relationship, there's people that do put blockers too. I tend to have a little bit times blockers, uh not allowing relationships to come in because I don't feel like it at this moment. I'm content with where I am. I don't want to have too many relationships. I want to have a certain amount that I can control and not have 20 people. You understand?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think
Well,
it's,
that's what it is, Angie.
yes,
It's not about the amount, it's about the
no,
quality.
exactly. I think it's that's from
Mm,
experience, from getting older. I think when our 20s, we had so many different relationships with so many people. It was overwhelming, but we had more time to do something like that. Now in our
exactly.
now that we're in our 50s, I believe that the amount of people is not important, like you said. It's the quality of each person that's giving to you, and vice versa. What you're giving each other is more important.
I agree.
Yeah. So now we finished the relationship. Now we're going to the
The friendship, yeah. Now we're going to work, right?
work relationship. Yep. So what does
Hmm.
that consist of?
So healthy work relationships are just as important because, let's face it, we spend so much time at work, especially if you have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, and acquaintances, because that's what we call our our work environment, right? They're acquaintances. Sometimes they can become friends, right? Just like
Yes.
our neighbors are acquaintances, classmates are acquaintances. But you know what? The more time you spend with them, you can actually develop a friendship. So they can actually become part of your friend group. That can
Yes.
happen. And it happens very, very often, right?
Right.
So, because you get to see this person so frequently, and then you have these connections that are made. Again, that word connection. These connections that are made. You find some like-minded people at work, and again, positive people, and people that encourage you, that fill your cup. I love that saying. So these people, you eventually want them. They move from your acquaintance group into your friend group, because and it sometimes it just happens so naturally because you've got that positive connection with them, and you love being around them, and vice versa, right?
And how would you
So
go ahead?
yeah, so what I wanted to say is the importance of keeping positive relationships at work, right? So
Right.
there's little pointers here that I can mention on how to do that. So, staying clear of gossip,
Hmm.
that's top, very
That's
important.
that's a hard one.
Yes, I
Everybody
know it is.
gossips.
Yes, of course, that is a hard one, but that's when you walk away.
Yes.
Again, don't, really don't participate, don't engage, you walk away.
Yeah.
Support your team, support your coworkers who you work with, offer your help, uh, be there to I got your back, so to speak.
Yeah.
Establish boundaries again as well. So I got your back, but not to the point where you're suffering in any way, or your work is being affected because you're always helping everybody else. So establishing healthy boundaries. Stay positive when interacting with others. Recognize and respect the efforts and ideas of others. That's also very important.
Very
Be a
important.
good listener. Hmm. And be able to offer but to also accept constructive criticism, right?
Yeah, but that one, I'm sure people that are listening, they can agree that one people have a hard time. That
Oh,
one,
for sure.
yeah,
For sure. Some people don't like to hear, but it's also the way you go about it, right? The way you say it. It's so
sure,
important. I mean, always be mindful of how you talk to others. And if you do, then you realize, would I like for this person to say this to me in this way or in this way? So always put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and see how you can maybe say it in a way that you're helping him or her better themselves, right? Just like you would want someone to be able to tell you without being offensive. So
right.
always be mindful of the way you speak to someone, especially with constructive criticism.
Those are amazing
So,
pointers. Amazing.
yeah, no, for
But
sure. It's important to keep, our work environments positive, because I mean, we spend so much time there. And it could be such a big stressor in our life, right? So very
right.
important.
But after everything you've said, I believe that everybody that does go to work, they do have a lot of stress at work. I don't know if it's because their workload is very stressful, or there is people that do cause stress for them. I know that I've had one in my past where I did have a very stressful environment with a certain person, but I never spoke up. That was my fault. And I take full responsibility that I never spoke up and said, "Oh, this bothers me," because
Exactly.
I didn't want to cause friction, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't want to rock the boat.
Yeah. But again, right? Creating boundaries. So
Yes,
this person was crossing your boundaries
for sure.
because you didn't let her or him know that, no, this is where it stops. This is where, I'm not allowing you to go, right? So
Right.
by creating these boundaries, because, sometimes we tend to be so selfless because we don't, the people pleaser comes in and you don't want to offend anybody and you don't want to hurt that person. But at the same time, you're hurting.
Yeah.
So you're just as important. And I think that when we get to a certain age, we realize that,
Yeah.
we're just as important as everyone else that we're trying to always please. How about pleasing yourself,
But
right?
that's the fine line between a co-worker and a friend. So when you put those together, it's very difficult to
To
kind
separate.
to separate, because yes, you are friends, but at what extent?
For sure. No, it's definitely delicate when your coworker becomes your friend. It's
Exactly.
definitely, uh, you know, delicate relationship at that point when you're working with them. But again, if you create healthy boundaries and you're able to say, okay, this is our workplace, so we got a job to do, and then when we're not there, then it's a different thing. You understand? So it's creating that, just being clear on your intentions with that person at that point.
I believe what you're saying with the boundaries. Whoever's listening, you have to set them from the beginning. You have to do it straight from the beginning. Don't wait too long, because then you chicken out and you can't do it. So once you have a relationship at work and you do establish a friendship with a coworker, set your boundaries from the beginning, so then there's no surprises after.
Exactly. And just be clear,
Yeah.
with your intentions. When I'm at work, I have a job to do. And there's stuff that we need to accomplish when we're working. So it's much different than when you're out and about with that person. So as long
Yes.
as that's clear, I think it works.
Yeah. I agree. So now we finished with the relationship at work. Now we're down to the last one, our spiritual relationship.
Mm. So
So what does that
what
mean?
yeah, I was just going to say, so what does a spiritual relationship mean? So again, the word connection comes up. So it's a connection to self or to soul, to others, to our higher power, or to nature. It
Mm-hmm.
provides more meaning to life when we're connected, to something that is bigger than us, right?
Right.
and it has the potential to improve our physical, mental, emotional well-being. People who are religious or spiritual are better able to cope with stress. Sorry. So, for example, a spiritual practice can look like many things, both religious or spiritual. So it could be a practice of like, I mean, I do this a lot, journaling, prayer, being mindful, meditation, even walking. Or maybe it's a link to, it could be the religious side, which is a link to church or to a temple, synagogue, or mosque. It can mean finding, it just means that you're finding comfort through a personal relationship with a higher power. Connection to nature or art also inspires a sense of spirituality.
Oh, I didn't think of
so
that
whatever
one.
makes whatever makes you feel grounded, makes you feel connected. When we know that we're surrounded by energies, we're surrounded by comfort. I think it helps us with our daily stress, right? It makes us feel that we're, like I said, grounded, calm. That's for me, that's what I believe when it comes to spirituality. It's that calmness, that feeling, that protection, that being able to connect to a higher power, knowing that someone is listening to my most inner fears and insecurities, and bringing me that comfort, that calm, just by having that inner connection with the higher power.
It's like for me, when I do have my moment alone, I find that it's a break from life, because life is so busy that the girls know when I close my bedroom door and my lights are closed, they know, oh, mommy's praying, mommy's meditating, mommy's breathing. So that's their sign that, obviously, if my husband's home and the door's closed, it means something else. But if I'm alone, oh, I had to laugh a little bit. So if I'm alone and I'm in my room, they know mommy's, give her some time. I need that 5-10 minutes to just regroup and I need to do it every night and every morning, and the journaling, but it's a break from life. That's how I see it. And
there's so much benefits to that, Angie.
Oh, it's incredible. I've been journaling for over almost 2 years now, and it's a gratitude book that I have. Everybody has their little thing that they like to do, and I write every morning 3 things that I'm grateful for, and every night 3 things that I'm grateful for, and I do my prayers every night. And people, we dwell on little things. At the end of the day, I realize why did I say that? Why this is crazy. We're arguing about things that are so meaningless. And
exactly.
And being teachers, we see a lot. At the end of the day, I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful for my children, for their health, for our health, for my husband, and little things shouldn't bother us anymore. But that's why relationships are part of the pillars, because they do stress us.
Of course, it's so important to keep that part of our life, because it's such an immense part. We have relationships wherever we go, if you really think about it.
But we don't discuss them enough.
Exactly, but we're all connected. It's that connection. So this connection with people needs to be positive, needs to fill your cup. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, if it's just depleting you and bringing you down, it's going to cause chronic stress. And chronic stress, that everyday stress that we go through, the hustle and bustle of everything, everyone goes through that. That's not the stress that's going to kill you. The stress that's going to kill you and cause disease is the one that becomes chronic and that brings you to your core, and that you can't control. It really it eats you up, and that's the one that causes illness. That's the one, and it stems from the relationships that we surround ourselves with.
Do you believe
if you really think about
when you
it?
got sick? Because I know that I can speak only for myself, that I know that my sickness, getting sick, is part of it was relationships, and I never dealt with them properly. And only after, that's why this is so important that people listen to this podcast, because we're
Mhm.
trying to tell you guys, don't wait to get sick before you realize that you need to fix relationships. Do it
Mhm.
before, because it is part of getting sick. It's not only because you're not eating right, because you're not exercising, because you're not. If you have all that going for you and you have crappy relationships in your life, you're back to zero.
Exactly. But like I said, and I repeat it, when I first got diagnosed the first time, I focused so much on nutrition and physical
Mhm.
health, but I didn't look at my relationships. I didn't see, the impact it had on my well-being. I didn't understand it. And then years later, when I got my second diagnosis, I said to myself, but how can it be?
Mhm.
I'm eating so well. I'm at like the best physical health, fitness of my life. I felt so good in my skin. How can this happen to me again? What am I doing wrong? And it's not so much what you're doing wrong. It's, what not what you're doing wrong, because at that point I wasn't doing anything wrong per se, but I was not taking care of what was around me, which is my everyday, the way I handle my relationships, and the people pleaser kind of system that we develop all the time, and we forget to please ourselves first, right? To make
Yeah.
ourselves happy and to surround ourselves with people that want the goodness for us. So I did a lot of cleaning up in my life, so to speak,
It's
when
the
it
soul
came to
searching. Yeah.
exactly when it came to surrounding myself with people that are going to be nourishing my soul and not depleting my soul. So I just want to speak a little bit about the benefits that research has shown, what many have uh, know already, that the benefits of spirituality. So some of them are: spirituality brings more meaning to life, which brings more happiness. It fills you with gratitude. Like you
Mhm.
said, Angie, you got your gratitude journal.
For sure.
um, you experience more compassion. It improves social connections. Again, you tend to surround yourself with like-minded people. So these connections are positive connections, because there are people that are, they take spirituality just as an as an importance, just like you do. So you have those social connections, and that in return, it helps you, better cope with stress and develop and grow more positive relationships. Again, people that are part of, the religious groups, either through church or synagogue, temple, mosque, they create these connections, um, with like-minded people that have the same beliefs. And it's, again, a sense of connecting, a sense of home. So it's
It's
all
so
good.
important.
It's all
It's so
good for the
important.
soul. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I hope that we helped out many people with our podcast today about relationships. I know that I learned a lot, and
Hmm.
I'm so looking forward to our last one. Which one is that one? Which one is the last one?
The last one is stress management.
Oh, that one,
Mm.
we need an hour. 30 minutes is not enough.
We're gonna try to break it down. We're gonna try to break it,
Okay.
but so it can be like a spoonful.
Oh my God. I thank you so much.